Okay, welcome everybody. I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Health to order. Please be advised that this open meeting is available live online at rpsrockland.com/TV and within 24 hours via video on demand. I'd like to call this meeting to order and start with new business. Delson, I believe we have a COVID-19 update.
Oh, yep. So good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining tonight's meeting. So I just wanted to briefly update the board on COVID-19 updates. Currently, right now in Rockland, we have 64 positive cases, still 0 in rehabs as far as patients concerned. They do have 1 staff member that will be coming out of isolation soon. Our numbers are on the incline, and the only thing we can do is just keep promoting the mask up and make sure that everybody is doing their part and taking their responsibility on wearing a mask and making sure that when you're in public or you're not with your direct family members in your household, that you do wear a mask. It's probably one of the most beneficial things that we can do is to make sure we wear a mask to stop the spread. Conference calls every other day as far as the COVID. So information is changing daily. And so that's what I have to say about COVID. Do I have any questions? So moving right along to the recycling center. Stickers are still being sold. Right now we're in another leaf season. So more stickers are being generated for that. It seems to be working, beneficial for the recycling. I know that we spoke the last time in our October meeting. We discussed of Dave Taylor, what he's done at the recycling center, widen up the road. It looks amazing. And I'm really happy to be a part of it. The recycling center is going to be a project that's going to take some time. I would say 5 years from now, it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility. I just recently got awarded, so the grant process, every April of every year, it's a process that I have to go through to get grant money. And this year, I'm happy to say that I got $20,900 to use at the recycling center. Last year, we got a shed, we got another container, we've got a mattress, the mattress grant. So those are if you tally up all those expenses, those were items that we got to purchase. With this $20,900, I can do anything with. I think one of the most biggest things is that I would like to do is, if you've gone to the recycling center, there's these 2 big green recycling containers. They're ugly and they're rotting. And our disposal company has told me several times it's going to be a disaster if the bottom ever gives out. The cost to simply renovate them is expensive. The cost of brand new is $15,000. I think I sent you guys an email about that. So for 2 brand new blue ones, The cost is $15,392. This is something that I think would benefit. And it's something that I would ask the board to think about it and let me know sooner than later if this is something that I could use to purchase for the recycling center.
Deltron, quick question. We have a lot of stuff on the plate tonight. I don't want to stay too long on this, but should we compare it to, is it possible to refurbish what we have? Or are they beyond?
They're beyond, I believe. It's my opinion that they're beyond. The cost to refurbish them is, I think, $8,000 to refurbish both of them. And that's just going to give us a little bit more time with them. Right now, we have all blue containers. Some were purchased through special town meetings. Some were purchased through the grant. These other recycling containers are the same color. The new ones would be blue as well. And they're like
How long do they last in general? Do you know?
25 years.
Okay.
If they're maintained properly, longer. The other ones were not maintained properly. They were just sitting on the ground, which was adding to the erosion. So this way, Dave will make a platform for it, and it will sit on it, and it'll be easy for the trucks to pick up and move.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Delhi, thank you. I don't think it's something we really need to take a vote on tonight.
No, I don't think so.
As far as
No.
operating budget.
It's a the wait time is lengthy on these.
I'm sure. Okay, well, why don't we table this for now and we can just discuss it more. But I personally, I don't see any real issue with it. I mean, we need to move forward with these items.
Okay.
But when we get into the public health nurse update.
Okay. So public health nurse update last week. Stacy, myself, and Nancy Funder held interviews with one person. And at this time, we just don't feel that we're going to keep looking at other options. We've got it out there. Jen, the assistant town administrator, has her feelers out too. So we've got a lot of people that are pulling for us. I reached out to Hanover VNA. They sadly declined, but we're not going to give up. We're still going to push forward.
Okay, thank you. Kind of shocked. We only had one person apply. Is that it? Yeah, well, this is definitely something we don't want to rush into anyway. So, okay, thank you. Any other questions for the new business? Okay. With that, why don't we get into the next section of appointments, where we have Deborah Nelson and a plan to bring a property located at 4-8 Union Street, Rockland, Mass. with 02370 into compliance with the state sanitary code. Ms. Nelson, I assume you can hear us.
Ms. Nelson, you're muted.
Okay, unmuted. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes. Yep. Yes, we can. Thank you very much. So, Ms. Nelson, what are your plans going forward for that property?
The same thing as it was before, to put the heat in. That's why I applied for the permit. My church gave me half the money and I came up with the other half of the money. And when we went to put it in there, the permit was not given. And so the man has half the money, and the same man that testified before is the one that's putting the heat in there. And as soon as the permit is given, then the heat will be put in.
Ms. Nelson, is that the man from Cobra?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I can give a short background on that. I forgot his name. Ms. Nelson might be able to fill in the name for me, but
His name is Alpina.
Alpina from Cobra applied to the building department to put in heat at the second floor. The building department did not issue the permit because the second floor was condemned. And because the second floor was condemned, Ms. Nelson first needed permission from this board before any work could be done. So, and that person testified at the trial that was held. And I have no reason to think that he's not a qualified person. He does work in Rockland all the time. So, so I can at least confirm that that person exists and would be able to do the work at the property. So sorry, Ms. Nelson, I interrupted you, but you can keep going.
Oh, that's basically, I let him know about the meeting tonight so that when the decision comes either way, I would let him know.
Ms. Nelson, we're
Ms.
having trouble hearing you.
I'm right here. Is it
Wait.
because I turned away or?
Yes, yes, it is. If you just picture your face in the computer screen, we can hear you
Okay.
perfectly fine. Thank you.
All right. So what I'm saying is that I would have to let him know as to whether or not the permit is granted so that he can put on his schedule to put it in, because this is winter time. As he was saying, he has a lot of calls. So that's why I called him today to let him know that we were having the meeting.
And Mr. Riley, is it required that he be on this meeting?
No, it's not required that he be on this meeting, but in order for you, the board, to give written permission, if that's what the board wanted to do, we'd have to know a date and time or multiple dates and times that Cobra could do the work.
According to him, that he testified in court, he said that it would take 1 to 2 days. And it would depend on when the permit is granted.
Okay. Do you have those dates that he is available, or do you
No,
have the
he
information
has-
do you have the information as to what type of system he wants to put in?
A gas system, gas heat. It's 96 according to Mass Save, something like that. He wrote it all in the documentation. It's 96% because you can get a rebate up to a certain point. And so if it's 96% capacity working as, then you're able to get a rebate for a certain amount of money.
What documentation? I'm sorry, because did you send that to the board?
Did I send it to the board? I wasn't asked to send it. I was instructed by Delshon that I would have to set up an appointment to have the meeting, and the paperwork for the system, Mr. Alisi, my attorney, has, and he presented it to the court. So I don't know anything else except for that, what I saw and what he came to testify by.
Do we have any of that information at all, or?
I'm sorry, I was never given any information. The only thing that Ms. Nelson did was asked to be placed on the agenda. We had a conversation over the phone, and I explained to her what I needed, and she did not provide me with what I needed.
And what was that you needed? Excuse me. What was that you needed that I didn't provide?
I needed a plan, a written plan and dates and times for Cobra, or to have what your intentions were of putting the heat in.
I already explained that in court. That's why I wanted it on the record. Okay, number one. And number two, as I told you, you didn't ask me for a plan when I asked you what was necessary to come to the meeting. Okay, if you did, I might have misunderstood, but I am more than capable of giving you that as of tomorrow.
So I think I have to at least jump in here that what is required has been explained multiple times to Ms. Nelson and her attorney, Mr. Alessi. Not only, you know, with my conversations over the phone with Mr. Alessi in the past, but also during court events with the judge. So respectfully, I don't think it should come as a surprise what was required to be presented to the board to this meeting.
When I asked her what I needed to do, that's all that she told me, and that's what I went by. As I said, I would be more than happy to give you a copy as of tomorrow.
Okay,
I wouldn't be able to do it.
that's very good. Mr. Riley, thank you for the clarification. I know in the past, there's definitely been some miscommunication, a little misunderstanding.
I
in regards
agree.
to different conversations.
Don't do that.
You know. All right, that being said, I know we had Deputy Heaney on the Zoom meeting in regards to the fire and life safety aspect of it. Deputy Heaney, can you inform us, update us on the status of the fire alarm system?
So as I testified in court, Ms. Nelson needs to bring the fire alarm system that was in that building back up to code and working. I received a call from an electrician that claimed to be doing the work there, and he really did not seem to understand what I was requesting. Basically, the system needs a total overhaul, and Ms. Nelson just has smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors placed where she felt they were needed. They don't meet any code at all. And again, that building will have to go back to the original fire alarm system that was intended for the purpose of the convent at the time it was built. That includes heat detectors, local smoke detectors in the rooms, heat detectors in the hallways on all 3 floors, including the basement.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Heaney? So you said that she needs to bring the current system up to code as it would be at the time that the convent was in existence. Is there a separate process where she can put in a different system?
If she lays out a plan on what she is trying to renovate that building to, say she's converting it to, because it's in that zone, it has to be residential over commercial. If she presented a plan that she was going to change it to, say, a 2-family with commercial down below, we could probably accept plans for her to do that. But at the minimum, something has to be upgraded in that fire alarm system or fixed, because that fire alarm system is not functioning.
Is it dangerous to have a heating system installed in a property without a fire alarm system?
It's illegal. I mean, there's no way in this code, the way it's written, that I can approve the system Ms. Nelson has put into place. A new heating system, then the inspection kicks in for us to do a new fire alarm system. What she has in there is not acceptable to the Rockland Fire Department, period, and the state.
Wait, so I just want to be clear. I just want to make sure it's clear. So
Understood.
when you say it's illegal, I understand that the current system is illegal.
Yep.
I think what I'm asking is it a risk to have if she put in a new heating system, is that a risk to have a new heating system in the property if the fire safety system is not updated?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
One second, Ms. Nelson. So I have a quick question for you. So do you have a plan as to where you want to go with the building going
Do
forward?
I have a plan? my plan was, according to the town, the heating system needed to be installed. There was nothing said about the fire system until later on. And the next thing I want to correct, okay, when the electrician came, he told me exactly. You said, Mr. Heaney, that he didn't quite know what he was talking about. He's a master electrician, and he told me that there would have to be a plan. He told me about why it would have to be on certain floors and how it would have to be set up, okay? And he also told me about the heating one. He went all over those instructions. Now, whether he spoke to you about that, I don't know. But I do know he's a master electrician, and he has put in fire alarm systems before. That I do know.
So Ms. Nelson, so did you agree to have him do that work? To put in to either upgrade or put in a new fire alarm system?
The work that I agreed to was to put it in the heating system.
No,
After-
when you spoke to the master electrician,
Right.
did
When
you
I
say
spoke to him,
him?
he said that you had to have the plans for the house. I went down to the town hall this afternoon to get the plans, and according to the building inspector and the administrator, Mr. Riley, you told them not to talk to me. So therefore, I wasn't able to get the plans to give to the electrician.
Well, that was all
you on
done.
how much that work might cost?
That would kind of be up to me, long as it meets the code. Okay, that would be up to me and the time frame that it would take to put in there if I decided to do that. Okay, so I can't answer your question in regards to that because that's kind of private. If I decide to do that, I will have to come to you and get the necessary permits, which I have no problem with, because I will be 100% safer than what I was before. Now, my systems that are in here now, all right, when you came before August, when you came last year, which I have pictures of, okay, you didn't say anything about a fire system. You said that in your recordings or the statement that you gave me, you said you didn't know whether the smoke alarms were working or not. They looked like they were outdated, and they weren't. I have my receipt, which is what I showed you at the court, and I had the receipt for those ones at that time. That's one thing I don't mess with, this fire, because I had a fire from a dryer, not taking the link out of the dryer. It went from one house, skipped the house, and went to another house. Okay, so I do not want any fire at all.
Okay, Ms. Nelson, I have a question for you. Did you just mention that it would be up to you in regards to how you wanted to go about the fire alarm system?
Yeah, as long as I do what's required for you. He asked me how much money would it cost. That's what he asked me. Okay, how could I give him a price on how much money it would cost if I don't know all that's involved? Okay, I don't know all that's involved and what the steps are. And he has to look at the plan according to him. You have to know the sizes of the room. You have to map out everything, what kind of equipment you're going to use, and so forth and so on. And I decided to look it up online as well. That's how I know the electrician was telling the truth. Okay.
I am aware your project would definitely be, very in depth, to go into it. As far as the extent of it, I mean, it's up to the state. It falls under the national law, and it has to be brought back to the initial level with the hardwired smoke and CO alarms and with the hardwired heat detectors in the hallway. Unless you had a plan to go further, I'll use Deputy Heaney's example of, say, turning it into, storefront on the bottom, 2-family on top. And if you came across a bit, something like that, which would alter the plan, I think we could, certainly look at it. As it stands right now, we need to bring it back to, that original level. And I was speaking for myself, I don't feel comfortable putting in a heating system, into a building with no fire protection. And improperly installed battery operated systems, detectors does not cover that.
So Ms. Nelson, I didn't know that you went to the town hall today looking for the plans. No one told me that. They're right that I told them not to talk to you, because that's what we had an open litigation going in the Superior Court. And that's also why last week when we were in court, I gave you my card at the judge's direction so that you could contact me. Now, I don't have any problem with you having the plans to your own property. First thing in the morning, I'll tell the building department to make them available to you.
And why should that be necessary? As a citizen, I have a right to look at it if I'm at this address. Why should that be necessary?
Well, it's necessary because of the open litigation, and frankly, we don't have to get into all the details of it now, but you tend not to tell the truth all the time, and I don't want.
That's not true.
Well,
that's not true. That's your opinion.
Well, that's
my
fine.
opinion is that when I do tell the truth, you take it and turn it a different way. This all could have been resolved if at the time I went to the building inspector, asked him, okay, what had to be done with the system? He told me to check with my contractor, my plumber. I did that multiple times, and I have proof of that. I do not have to lie because I'm a Christian woman and I plan on going upstairs, not downstairs. Okay, that's number one. So anytime you ask me something, I will tell you to the best of my ability. As I said, I don't know how much the system would cost because it hasn't been designed. It hasn't been mapped out. We haven't went over things. I don't know what the permits will cost. So how could I possibly give you an estimate of how much a system would cost?
No, you don't have to. It's fine. It's okay.
And there's heat already in here, okay? And according, okay, to what was here all of this time since 2015, since I've moved here, okay, the smoke alarms, the fire alarms, the fire extinguisher, the carbon monoxide detector, all have worked. If they didn't work, okay, and they needed to be replaced, I was never notified of it until you went to court that system had to be replaced. All this time, as many times as I've had visitors to this house.
Ms. Nelson, I'm going to object. We informed you via mail in a letter stating that fire alarm system was non-compliant.
Yes.
Going back to, so please don't tell me I didn't tell you. Okay,
I didn't say that you didn't, sir. I didn't say that you didn't. I didn't say that you did.
And this goes back.
No, I didn't. I said as many times as you've been here, okay, as many times as you've been here, sir, okay, the first couple of times that you've been here, there was nothing said about the smoke or fire alarm. That's what I said. And if I didn't say that, that's exactly what
we've been informing you of this and the other property owners of that facility. Okay.
Okay, maybe the other property owners.
How many times do you have to be told your fire alarm system is not compliant?
And also, if I might add, there are a lot of delays because we're not allowed access for inspection, which would have delayed, us in person informing you of, the outdated fire alarm system.
Well, that part is true. I don't deny that. Some of the times I was here and some of the times I wasn't. But you chose to believe that I was here whether you saw my vehicle or not. Okay? There have been times I've been in the hospital and so on and so forth. My life has not been easy. Okay? But you don't go by what you see. You should go by what you know. All right? I've even, Delshawn is there, you can ask her. I've even called her from down south to let her know where I was and when I was coming back. But I bet you she didn't mention that.
All right, so there's other people on too. I think if we might want to hear from Attorney Letterman on why him and his clients are on the meeting at the moment.
My last question to
Sander.
you. I'll wait.
Sandy, you're on mute.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. Good evening. Mr. Margolis, Mr. Nelson, Ms. Stewart, Ms. Flip, I want to publicly thank you and praise you for finally suing Mrs. Nelson. And Attorney Riley has done a nice job for you. And if you look at the judgment that Attorney Riley obtained from Superior Court Judge Deborah Squires Lee, you will find that the judge has found Mrs. Nelson to be not truthful in a number of respects.
Allow me
And
to.
Excuse me, Ms. Nelson, I didn't interrupt you. I'm going to speak now. I don't want to hear a word out of you while I'm speaking.
Yeah, there you go. Very rude.
And Mr. Heaney from the fire department, I want to thank you. And you're well aware of the fact that Mrs. Nelson has been jerking the town of Rockland around for years.
So haven't you? From
She-
2003.
Let me, excuse me, Mr. Letterman, one second. Delshon, do you have the ability to mute everybody except, in this case, Mr. Letterman, who is speaking?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I done. I
I'm-
do.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Margolis. Now, the bottom line is that my clients, Robert and Toyin Adebanjo, purchased this property at 408 Union Street with Mrs. Nelson in 2003. We have been in litigation with her since 2012. On the record title at the Registry of Deeds in Plymouth, she is the trustee of the trust that has title to the property. But Robert Adebanjo redeemed the foreclosed tax taking in the land court in 2014. Mrs. Nelson testified to you a few minutes ago that she moved into the property in 2015. I'm going to say that again. She testified a few minutes ago that she moved into the property in 2015. She's a liar. The master in the probate court litigation found that she moved into the property in February of 2014. And as a matter of fact, we have some evidence that she may have moved in a little bit earlier. But my client, Adebanjo, paid the town of Rockland over $82,000 to redeem the foreclosed tax taking. We take the position that the Adebanjos own 408 Union Street, period. Now that's in dispute in the Plymouth County Probate Court case that was transferred to the fiduciary litigation session that sits in Norfolk. My respectful request to you folks is to not allow Miss Nelson to do anything with the property. She is not in charge of the property. She was never in charge of the property. She entered the property improperly, in our opinion. We have information from the town of Rockland, from your tax collector treasurer, Mr. Ellard, that when the town foreclosed the tax taking, they secured the building, they locked the building, they padlocked the building. And Attorney Laura Anastasia Brown, who was the tax title attorney, also has told us in written affidavit that the building was secured by the town of Rockland. Miss Nelson moved into the property at least in February of 2014. And by the way, she has not only excluded my clients from that property 100%, we know that she has rented rooms out on the second floor to boarders, tenants, roomers, what have you. The fire department knows it. The police department knows it. She has had sex offenders living in this property next to a kindergarten school. It's unbelievable. And by the way, it's my understanding that in most cities and towns in Massachusetts, if a person goes to the building department and asks to file an application for a permit to do work, that normally, in most cases, I believe, the building inspectors want to know that the taxes for the property are paid. Well, Mrs. Nelson has excluded my clients from the property from the beginning of 2014 to date And currently, the real estate taxes owed to the town of Rockland are over $50,000. She is not in charge of this property. She does not own this property, and she doesn't get to make the decisions about this property. The person who's going to end up making the decisions about who owns exactly what are the judge of the fiduciary litigation session. So I would respectfully ask you folks to take no action and give Mrs. Nelson no authority to do anything other than comply with the Superior Court order and vacate the property. She cannot be trusted to do anything properly in this property. Attorney Riley can tell you more about the judgment that he obtained on your behalf. He was your lawyer. He did a good job. And your fire people and your police people have literally had to fight off Mrs. Nelson. She didn't mention there's a criminal case pending against her in the Hingham
Excuse me.
District Court.
I just want to
For
interrupt real
assault.
quick. I'm sorry, Attorney Letterman. I just
I'm
want
going
to,
to shut up now.
okay, thank you. I just
Thank
want to move the meeting along.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, with that, I think so we all respect the facts that you just presented. But I do not believe we really have the jurisdiction to, rule on anything as far as, that particular, lawsuit. We are more concerned with
Right.
the
That's-
state
that's
sanitary code.
Yep,
Which
you're right.
is what we'll be, discussing. With that, Christine and Stephen, as I mentioned, I am concerned, and I would rather not have a heating system installed without the proper fire protection system in place prior. I think it's too much of a risk and a liability. What is your thought on that, Christine?
I agree with you, Scott. I believe that it is a risk to anybody that would live there. So I am in full agreement with that.
Excuse me. May I speak now?
One second, just waiting to hear from Mr. Nelson, from Steve.
May I speak now?
Ms. Nelson, I'm just going to ask you to wait for the board.
One moment, you will have a chance to speak. I want to hear the viewpoints of my fellow board member, the vice chair. Stephen?
Yeah, well, from what I see, there's an order to vacate. And as far as getting the work done, there's been a question on whether the plans have been submitted to the town in the first place. So I think without having seen a plan and being pretty sure that we were supposed to see one by now, I'm pretty sure we should vote to allow the property to be vacated and see what the owners of the property can do to get it fixed.
Good. Yeah, thank you. I agree. We should have had, something in place by now. Ms. Nelson, you wanted to say one more thing? You're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, I came here February 14th, 2014. I wasn't moved in and stayed over completely until 2015. That is what I was referring to. I am well aware, I said February 14th. I am well aware of that because it was Valentine's Day. My next question to you, sir, in regards to the heat, you're saying that the fire alarm has to be installed along with the heat. Is that what you're saying? Am I correct? I just want to make absolutely sure. Am I correct?
Could you, I didn't quite get that. Could you repeat it, please?
I said, what you're saying is that the fire alarm system has to be installed first before the heat is installed. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. And
Installed and up to code as
well,
described
of
by
course, it's going to
Deputy
be up to
Heating.
code if you have to get the permit. That kind of goes without saying. I'm sure that you'll put everything in there to make sure that I follow the code.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm not worried about that, and I'll feel 5,000 times safer. And I appreciate that, and thank you very much. Okay, and I plan on doing such. Now, in regards to the heat plan, you're worried about the heat plan, and you haven't given me the okay for the permit, but you're also talking about the fire, the fire alarm, okay? But I have no way to get the plan to give to the, what's the name, so that we can move forward. So it goes both ways. So I said that to say that either we're going to work together or not at all. I'm
Wait.
not really interested in what Mr. Letterman has to say. I'm only interested in here.
What, when you say plan, Ms. Nelson, do you mean the plan from,
If there's something, save it.
you mean the plan from
Remind me.
the building department?
Big deal. I don't care about.
Plan
these.
from, let me make absolutely sure. What he told me was, okay, that you needed a plan that you would have to submit to the fire department, okay? And in order to do that, you have to figure out where you're gonna put the smoke detectors and how many you gotta have and all the things that are required. Now, he needs a plan of the house so that he can draw it up so that I can give it to you.
I will, so on that part, I will make sure first thing tomorrow morning that the building department makes the, whatever plans or files have to do with your property available to you. I'll do that.
Okay,
first
and
thing
I'll
tomorrow.
be more than happy to give you the plan for the heating system as well.
Excuse me, do you want me to check with the building department right now to see if a file like that exists?
Is he in the building? Is the building department
I mean,
open?
Yes. Attorney
Excuse me
Riley?
1 second.
Well, hold on a second. So that's not gonna help this second. Even if you have it now, it needs to be presented and
Correct.
whatever. So it doesn't, it's not gonna help tonight. I'm happy to talk to Tom first thing in the morning, or Deli, you can even just tell him, it's fine. That she can come grab anything related to her property. And that goes for this board in your office as well. Anytime she needs something related to her property, she can have it. She is right that I told the building department not to speak to her without speaking to me. But I don't want to have anything withheld from her. If she called me, today and asked for those things, and I would have said yes. So Ms. Nelson,
Unfortunately, I didn't have your number and he wouldn't speak to me to give it to me.
that's fine.
Okay, well, okay, that's
Time.
fine. And as Attorney Riley said, it's gonna be taken care of, and tomorrow you will have whatever plans you do need.
So
I plan on putting both the heat and the fire alarm system in. Okay,
this is what you have to do. So we don't have to go through another meeting like this where you don't get what you're looking for. If you're going to put the heat in and put in the fire system,
mhm.
you have to again send an email to Delshawn requesting to be put on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay? And
Why?
then you have to have those people come to the next meeting and submit documents and tell us what they're actually going to do and when they want to do it.
When is the next meeting? Stall for time? Is the next meeting next week or next month? When is the next meeting?
It would probably be in January, unless my board wants to meet again, but that's the next.
I would suggest having the next meeting before January for the.
Historically, we have usually, withheld the December meeting due to the holidays and everything else. But when we do have cases that, are a little bit time sensitive, that's fine. We can certainly have a meeting. As a board, we can discuss, possible dates, and we can,
I think we
close
should
that.
find a date now, and then it'll be included in the written decision that you guys issue tomorrow.
And I only need 1 week according to the electrician in order for him to have everything available.
So we're looking at,
Today's the 17th.
are we comfortable with a Tuesday? We could do Tuesday the 1st.
I'm fine with that.
If the first is good, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, the first is fine with me.
Let me just
That's
check
not an
in
issue.
here and let you know, Tuesday, the 1st, we may have a
Yeah, in the conflicts.
selectmen's meeting. That's the only other meeting I have on my agenda right now. So as long as it doesn't interfere with selectmen, we can do Tuesday, the 1st.
What time is the selection?
Yeah, they
seven.
meet at 7. So we would meet again at like 4:30.
We could do this again at 4
5 o'clock.
or 5.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on the 1st.
Yes, please. Thank you, Dave.
That's good.
Okay. And at
I
that
make a motion.
meeting, let me make perfectly clear, since it's being recorded, that way there I don't have to be accused of lying, okay? Make it perfectly clear that on the 1st of December, the Board of Health is having a meeting in regards to 408 Union Street, and at that time, the plan will be presented for the fire alarm system and the heating system, or is it just the fire alarm system?
Miss Nelson, we're gonna need those documents prior to the December 1st meeting. You're also gonna
Okay,
have
that's
to do
fine.
another written request to be placed on that agenda.
Okay,
So Ms. Nelson, I would suggest that you do both. We can't order you to come and present both, but you can't have the heat without the fire system.
Mm.
So I would suggest that you get in contact with Cobra and whoever you spoke to about the fire, the master electrician, and make
Jose.
sure they're both available for 12/1. But whatever they're going to plan on doing, they need to send in to Delshon so that she can give it to the board, so the board can look at it before the meeting. And then at the meeting, they can explain what they're
I
going to
thought
do.
the fire alarm system was to be seen by the fire chief. The board has to approve the fire alarm system, or the chief has to?
We have to review it,
Yeah,
Mr. Nelson. We
so-
have to review the plan.
The board, because the second floor is condemned, no one's allowed to go up there, despite their people being up there now anyway. No one's allowed to go up there and do anything without written permission from the Board of Health. So the Board of Health needs to say, okay, we saw this plan, we give you written permission. But you need to, but anything that you get, so if the master electrician goes to the fire department can issue the permit conditioned on the Board of Health giving permission to go into the second floor.
Mhm.
And I will need dates and times that he is willing to do this.
Yeah, and we'll need specific dates and times when those people will be entering the property. Because no one's supposed to be in the property after Friday.
Well, I have to come back and forth for my things.
That's
So-
not gonna happen, Miss Nelson.
Well, the judge said that it was.
No,
She said I would
Kelly,
be able to.
it's not, Ms. Nelson, we can,
No.
I agree with you that the judge said that that was the case, and I agree with that.
Exactly.
So we can work that out.
Oh, so I'm not lying, right?
Well, listen, I'm agreeing with you, so let's not argue. when we
Okay.
agree.
I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure.
But
I'm
that's
just making
something-
sure that I understand, sir,
But
because
that's,
I'm writing it down. That's all.
but that is still separate. From the heating and the fire people who are.
I
gonna-
understand. I understand.
So we can talk about that at a separate time. Even if you want to call my office tomorrow, I'm happy to talk to you about it.
And
But just so you're clear, make sure that those people submit whatever they're going to do to
I
the
will
board.
make absolutely sure. I will make absolutely sure. I'd be more than happy to.
And once you have the written permission, then you'll be all set. But the board can't give you written permission if they don't know who's going to do what when, especially with the fire system. Okay?
I agree. I agree. And I will address that issue ASAP as you ask. And I will
Excellent.
make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. And I thank you for your time and patience.
Okay, all right. Very
Excuse
good.
me,
And
Attorney Riley, I have a quick question. Oh my gosh, I just, the place is getting boarded up on Friday, correct?
Yes. Friday
So-
afternoon, after 12 o'clock.
12 noon, correct?
Anthony, can I guess I want, because we're boarding this place up, I guess I'm not trying to extend the meeting here, but is Miss Nelson planning on coming and going on a daily basis and spending all day in the house?
The
I
judge,
only asked from
the judge said that Miss Nelson can work with me, who will work with your department, police department, about after the building is vacated on Friday, that if she needs to come back to the property to collect things, that can be done under supervision. That's separate from what we're talking about now. Me and Ms. Nelson have not spoken about that since we were in court last week, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's not going to be an open door. Where the building's going to remain open. Even when we close the building up, we're going to have to make it accessible. And when the Board of Health gives permission for the heat and the fire people to go in there and do work, they'll be given permission from, whatever date on this time in the morning till this time in the afternoon, and they'll have to leave. And then someone, whether it's the police or someone from the building department, will have to close the building back up. So even if Ms. Nelson is going to go back to the building, it will be for a limited period of time during, a morning or an afternoon to collect what she needs, and then the building will be boarded up again and secured after that. But it's not going to be a wide open thing on a daily basis. But I don't want to say much more because I need to talk to her about it, depending on what she needs and whatever. I can deal with that with her separately. But the general answer is it's not going to be an open door, and it'll be regulated through me at the direction of the judge who ordered that last week while we were in court. So that's that.
Okay.
Mr. Margolis, could I make a brief request?
Sure.
Yeah. I understand that this board cannot and will not make a decision on who owns what of the building at 408 Union Street, and I respect that. And there's no question about that. But what I would ask is two things. My clients should have the right to see the plans that Mrs. Nelson presents to you on the fire system and the heating system. My clients have a right to express an opinion as to whether that system, fire or heating, should or should not be put in.
No.
We don't know what she's intending to do. I would ask that you require her to give us copies, or have your office allow us to be given copies. And number two, and Mr. Attorney Riley might be able to address this, I would like to have your board, when the building is closed up, to allow my clients the right to inspect the building.
So as far as whatever the documents that get submitted by Ms. Nelson's contractors, you have the right to those, that they're all public. If whatever they send into Delshon, then I'll forward them to you because I'll see them
Thank
too.
you. That's fine. I appreciate
As
that.
far as entry to the building, even when the building gets vacated and secured, it's still the town. We have to go by what's on record. And Ms. Nelson, at least right now, I know you're disputing it, and I'm not even taking a position on who owns what. But we can't let other people into the building. Now, if you get some kind of order from the business litigation session that orders the town to allow your clients into the building, then that's obviously a different matter. But the board can't grant your clients access to the building because they're not the record owners of it, at least today.
Okay.
So I understand the predicament that they're in.
No, that's all right. That's fine.
The board just can't do it.
For the record, I would ask Mrs. Nelson, would you be willing to allow my clients to inspect the property?
Mr. Letterman, I have nothing to say to you.
That answers that.
Okay, so I think now what we should do is vote to continue the hearing to 12/1.
Can I ask before we do that vote, because
Yeah.
this might add to the vote? I do ask that Ms. Nelson provide the documents by the 24th. It is a holiday weekend. I need 48 hours to post the agenda. And I am going to be out of the office, obviously, on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so I would need to post the meeting before that.
Now, could you say that again? Because I'm writing it down. I didn't quite hear you. I heard you say, when you say post, you're saying that I have to rewrite and ask to be at the meeting for December 1st.
No,
Okay,
no,
but I have to have it into you by a certain time. Is that correct or not correct?
no. So Ms. Nelson, you don't, what we're going to do instead is we're going to vote. We're going to continue this meeting, meaning that you don't have to request another meeting because the
Ah.
continuance is already the same meeting, okay?
Okay,
But Delshawn is asking you to have your heating contractor and fire contractor submit to her by the 24th?
Yeah,
The
it would
20
be next
today's the
Tuesday.
17th.
Next Tuesday.
Oh, okay. That
If I
gives them a
can-
week. I don't see any reason why that's not reasonable.
And you can email that directly to
Very
me,
good.
Ms. Nelson. So that would be very helpful if you could have them email it to me. If you want to provide them my email address,
I'll be happy to.
and then they can email it to me directly.
But it's not going on the record until the meeting on December 1st. Am I correct?
That is correct. The only people that will see that is my board members, myself, and Attorney Riley.
Okay, I just
Oh,
want to.
and Deputy Heaney.
Wait,
And I just
Yeah,
want to
hold on,
make
please,
sure.
Del.
anything submitted is public, so anyone can see it. Okay? So I just don't want to give Ms. Nelson the wrong impression. If anything submitted that is going to be used, at a public meeting can be looked at or inspected by anybody that's interested. So nothing submitted
All
for
right.
the public meeting is private. I just want to make sure Ms. Nelson understands that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If anybody wants it, let me know.
And Miss Nelson, you have Delshawn's email?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right, great. And so with that, do I have a motion to continue this meeting until December 1st at 5 PM?
I make a motion. We
Do
continue
I have a
the
motion? Do I
meeting
have a second?
Second,
until December 1st.
All in favor?
Excuse-
Aye.
Excuse me, Attorney Riley,
Second.
can I write down your
One.
number?
Ms. Nelson, 1 minute.
Mhm.
Okay, so we had a motion, we had a second to continue this meeting until December 1st at 5 PM. As a Tuesday. I do have another question, Attorney Riley. Do we need to make another motion or continue the motion to find that the second floor of
No.
408 Union Street?
So those final votes will be taken
December 1st.
at the final meeting. We can't vote on the things that we thought we were going to be voting on tonight and continue it at the same time. So So we're not going to issue a decision tomorrow now because we're going to continue with the meeting instead.
And it's my understanding that the property will still be boarded up this,
Yeah, so the continuance of this public hearing has no bearing on the orders from the Plymouth County Superior.
okay. I just want to make sure that was clear.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Nelson, you had a question for Attorney Riley?
Ms. Nelson, you want my phone number? You're
still muted.
He's muted. Unmute.
Okay.
You wanted my phone number?
Yes, sir.
You ready?
Yes.
Tony, do you want me to just email it to her? You don't want it live on
It's
TV?
our office. It's just our office. It's fine.
What?
It's just
Oh.
our office number. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
781
Mhm.
934 5678.
Okay, thank you much, Lee.
Okay, great. Awesome, thank you. All right, with that, is there anything else that the board needs to bring up?
The motion on the table, so.
We got to vote on the continuance.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we finished that. Okay, so there's a motion on the table to continue the meeting until December 1st at 5 p.m. We had a motion by Stephen, we had seconded by Christine, it was all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? Thank you. No, Christine and Stephen, anything else that you need to bring up?
Not at this time.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. So with that, if I could get a motion to conclude the meeting.
Adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn from Stephen.
Second.
Second by Christine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you all very much.